Hello and welcome back to Music Nuggets. Today's nugget is all about Japanese pentatonic scale. When people normally teach this, or if you see other YouTube videos about this, sometimes it will be called Hirajoshi scale, but there's a bit of a disagreement on which mode of this scale is Hirajoshi scale. Even different published books by respected academics disagree on which is which. I think the main thing is to get used to the sound of the scale, how it compares to modes, because basically this is a major scale or a Lydian scale or a minor scale, depending on which angle you're seeing it from, with two notes missing. I tend to think of it as a Lydian thing. So Lydian is kind of my reference point. The Lydian root of any key is my reference point when I'm thinking about this scale. So what I mean by this is I've written that this is in the key of G or E minor, but chord 4 in the key of G is C, and mode 4 in the key of G is C Lydian. So I think in my reference point as being the C in the key of G for this scale. So you would have like chord 1 is G major, chord 2 A minor, chord 3 B minor, and then chord 4 you get to C major. And because I've played these chords, it's set up a little expectation in your ears. And this Lydian will sound just right over it now. So if I play this Lydian version of the Japanese pentatonic scale, then it works in this context. We're kind of adding a note, or an extra piece to the tonality of this. We're adding the sharp 11 sound. The sound of the C chord. But that's basically the effect it'll give you. Kind of, well, I guess it's why it's called Japanese pentatonic. It's kind of oriental sounding. And then because it's a scale with 5 notes, it can have 5 modes. So your next mode, built on the next degree of that scale, would be the Aeolian home. So it's like relative minor home when you're in G major. So we're thinking about E minor for this. So over an E minor chord, that mode in the middle, this Aeolian one, works really well in context. You also have a Locrian version of this, because that's where your next mode root note is. So that would work over F sharp half diminished, or F sharp diminished. So this one here, I'll do that up here. So you can hear that works really well again. And then there's one with a major root too. So you could think of it as, so chord 1 in the key of G would be G, and we play this mode over the top of it. It's kind of strange sounding though. It's got fourths in it, and that will kind of add a strange neutrality. It will kind of counteract the homeness of that chord, if you like. So it's like we're playing a G suspended when we play this scale over the top of it. It's kind of like we're getting this sound, or like that. So it's a little bit unresolved feeling if you use it as a home thing, and again that's kind of why I think it's a Lydian thing really. Or you could see it's having a Phrygian root. And with each of these, I should really mention that in brackets is what it's missing. So the first one is Lydian without a second or a sixth. The next one is Aeolian without a fourth or a seventh, and so on. So the Phrygian chord in this case, in this key, would be B minor, and you can play this scale here. And they're all the same scale, it's just the same 5 notes repeating in different places with a different viewpoint. So that's kind of like normal applications for them. Because they're pentatonic scales and they're missing notes, you can kind of you can look for other things inside them or other possibilities for using them. For instance, the Phrygian one here, because it's Phrygian without a third, you could think of it as having an application where you would use a Phrygian dominant scale, so where you would have a major third. Because there's no third here, you could use it over a chord with either third. That's the whole point. So if instead of a B minor, for that Phrygian version of this scale, you could actually have like a B altered dominant. So this is great for things like minor and major 2-5-1s. If we've got a minor 2-5-1, the 5 chord would be a 7 with, let's say, a sharp 5 and a flat 9. And then resolving back to an E minor chord. Now, we're going to get away with that middle chord being major with this scale because there's no third in it. We're also gonna be targeting, you see it's got flat 9 or a flat second, this scale, and it's got a flattened 6th, which you could see as being a sharp 5. So that's kind of ideal for this chord. So that scale still sounds cool over a major chord. So that's a really interesting way of looking at that, and I'm sure you can find more and more uses for it. The other thing is you can simply think of it as just being something that will go with Lydian and also Dorian and Locrian stuff, because they all kind of have the same strong notes. So over a Dorian chord, over a minor 6, you would reach for. Now this is kind of interesting because there's no Dorian root in the scale. That's missing the Dorian note. That's missing chord 2 or note 2 from a major scale. But you could actually play. Let's say you've got a minor 6. You could play the G Ionian one of that, or you could think of it as actually just think of it as C Lydian. So anywhere you got a minor 6, in fact I'll put this on the looper, so that's A minor 6. If you play C Lydian Japanese pentatonic, then that'll sound great. And what's really cool about that is you're never hitting the root, because the A isn't in that Japanese pentatonic scale. I better wrap it up there. That's me pretty much ran out of time. Use these as you will, just try and introduce them to your playing slowly. Really interesting sound, really useful tool. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.